All right, so we are Monday night and gonna come up with a game plan here. What are my goals tonight? I'd like to get this front end all situated where it should be mounted. And actually jack this chassis up so it matches where my wheel should be. Then I can kind of figure stuff from there. Yeah. Well, let's muck around, see what we get. Okay, my goal right now is to get this wheel centered in here. I'm going to start with that problem first. I'll move the motor after, provided I have enough room. It's super tight right now, but I have like another inch I can go, and I think I'm like that close, I think, to where I need to be. I'm hoping I can get it within that range that I have here. And that should tuck this in between the frame rails nicely. So I should be able to sink that down close to the steering box. I can notch it out later. This front mount only had the single mount in the front, so I'll be able to make a new one for that. I don't know if you can see what I was doing. But I should be able to make a mount in here after for it, or even connect it up into this front cradle somehow. But it's pretty close. So right now I have these shock towers are hitting this inner tub. So what I'm going to do, well, there's some bits inside, but I'm going to blow them away because, well, you got to be able to get access to these shocks anyways. So I'm going to blow away what I need so I can get it down more. I have to get this ahead. Oh no, maybe, no, I got to go ahead some more. So yeah, anyways, what I'm doing is that. So plan A is just to get the body where it's supposed to go. At least this cab mounted. And then I can figure out the other side. But I want to get it down. I want to jack it up to where my wheel is supposed to be in there, so I can see that it's centered and it looks good. I really don't want to start fiddling around with it once I kind of have it set. But I want the body as low to the chassis as I can go. And because it's going to get lifted up after. Anyways. Enough talking. I'll just start cutting and show you. So I'm fighting around here. I'm finding that something's not quite square. You can see by the front sheet metal even. I mean, it is whatever, but you can see there's a difference. So the frame's not tweaked, and measuring it over, this frame has the kick. The back's got to kick over this way towards me to get it square to the back of the cab here. So I'm either going to do that or I'm going to move the cab. We'll see which one works easier. Now that I think about it, I'm leaning towards the cab part. Might stack some stuff up and just see if on the hoist I can actually push the cab over a little bit. Well, I'll try the box first. If this wants to cooperate with a jack and come over, great. If not, we'll shuffle the cab over. Okay, we got the body. She is sitting on the chassis here. And the wheel is about where it's supposed to be. Because the spacer I know is 1 inch thick. So, my wheel's sitting about right. It's, the frame is dead nuts level. The cab isn't yet. So I can see from here. She's got to go down, and I do want it to go down some more, so that's good. I don't know if I want the cab to go too much more down. I wouldn't mind it down a little more, but I don't want to keep the mount. I want to keep it over the tank because it's going to have to, I'm going to have to make a brace back here and stuff, so that's probably a little high yet. Like I can probably go a couple inches lower. So I'm going to keep scooting it down as much as I can. I don't need tons of bump in the wheel well. I got lots of wheel well here. So this is okay. It's just because I have this stupid rad in here still. I gotta somehow hodge it out. I don't want to take the rad out because it's kind of the front structure of this thing yet. So, yeah. So before I was doing a bunch of plasma here. I don't know if nobody was watching, but or couldn't tell. But I just cut open these towers. Right now I got the clip kind of just resting on the tower. I'll trim this around after. And I still got to scooch a wee bit. Like you can see this side, the mount, like the cab's sitting really good. That's to say those body mounts are square. They're probably not. But this side of the cab still has to scoot ahead about 1 inch. But I think once this nose drops, I can actually push the front of this truck back. Once I get that level, so I get that notched out and I can get the front of this down, then this lip will get a little close to the wheel again, so I can kind of push the cab forward. I'm going to keep burying it down as much as I can. And then I'll have to move my motor, but I'd like to make my mounts so at least I can bolt this cab as it is right now down, but take it off. And then I can remake all the new motor mounts, everything. And I'm going to just scooch the motor back as much as I can. I'll build a nice tunnel that I can get around and work around the motor. May as well do that because, well, like it's nice to service right now. Just need a stinking ladder now just to get up to the front. But the frame here is working all nice. Like, you know, I'll be able to bob off what I need, but I want to run a big bumper, like the stockish bumper on there anyways. The wheels fit nice. Look at that thing, eh? That's a big wheel. Oh. So, what are we today? What time are we? It's almost 8:45. So it's still early. I'm trying to figure what my game plan is. Might try to lift the cab again and hack the beans out of that. See if I can plasma that tank. so I can get the nose down, kind of get her level. Then I'll actually maybe start, if it's good, I'll mock up the other wheel. And if that works out good, then I'll try to start fabbing some front cab mounts. This one here is going to be uber easy. It's just going to be a plate across the front. And then this thing just has a single nut that just sandwiches down onto it. So that's pretty easy. The rest of the fenders are like super beefy on there, so they got these heavy brackets into here. And then same here, there's some heavy brackets off the nose. So I guess with the flip sides, it's kind of like most of those, they kind of just can rock on the front rad cradle. So, well, I gotta slice that up because that is just touching. So I'm gonna cut that right up to the heater box just about. I'll fold it back. Yeah, slice and dice. Little smoky in here. Clearing a bit of smoke out. Well, we got the cab level. That's same as the frame. Frame's level, windows level. We're gonna go with that. Which brings this higher than I wanted, but I can maybe drop the cab another inch, because that's about all I got up here. But it tucks nice in there. So I have the motor kind of like scabbed through into the cab, but I'm going to push it back. I have quite a few inches. I'll probably do the old wheelbarrow tunnel in there. Hump. Should work good. Give me lots of room if you have to pull ahead or do like a cylinder or valve cover or do anything like that. If you've got to service something, should make it easy to get at. Lots of room for everything else. But, so I'm going to make a mount here. Make sure everything's squared. It was pretty close. Get all this stuff out of the shop here. It's kind of in my way now. I'm going to drag in the other wheel. Just make sure it fits good. So here's my scab block. That's what's holding the cab right now. Pretty sketchy, I know. And you know, it's crazy. If you were just into crazy body lifts, this mount actually lines up bang on with the one on the cab. But I'm gonna make myself a new mount that goes up with a little rubber mount, or I'm gonna reuse these Dodge mounts. So that'll pile drive under there. Same in the back, except the back I think I'm gonna come out rig it out here more to the outside of the cab. So there's a bit of a standoff. So I'll have a mount here, and then when the cab comes back with the second part of the cab, look at that. It's probably gonna just work with that thing. That's pretty cherry. So that'll maybe work out really well. We'll see. These I'm gonna cut all off. I don't need any of them. I'm just gonna build new. Easy, easy. I'm either gonna cut them on the table, or I don't know. I'll see what I have for some scrap steel around that I can do that with. in here. Like I say, there's tons of room. So, especially if I change the steering column, that's going to be up. I'll have swinging pedals. Just going to do a Hydro Boost. The clutch, or the 4x and my shifter are actually like nice. I'm not going to need to floor anything out of that donor truck. Because it's just be easier to make a new firewall than it'll be to try to scab some stuff out of the other truck. It's just, everything seems tall. I wish it wasn't so tall. But whatever. I don't know if you have any perspective how tall this is, but I'm standing here and that's my door handle. Oh well. Oh well, it is what it is. We'll figure it out. Okay, today's plan is to get this cab more squared up and cut these off and start building some cab mounts. So I'm starting to design my cab mounts. Those are for the tops. I'm going to be reusing these Dodge mounts because they're in a good shape, so they're going to be my body mounts. Had a chunk of plate here. It goes on forever. Just a weird cut off from something. So yeah, gonna cut those, start with that. That way I can kind of bolt them in, and then I'll figure out the rest of what I got to do there. I'll probably have to CAD some stuff and mirror it to this plate. So these are the very first part. These go like this. The original Dodge mount will be there. This will sit down. It'll get sandwiched on. When I do the side plate, I'll probably do a little twang off it that I can fold around just to add some extra support. I mean, these are pretty thick, but I'd like to add some extra support to them anyways. So right now I'm just going to drill and bolt these things into the truck cab, and then I can start templating off of these. So I have all the mounts bolted in. Now I'm going to template down, make my my actual mount to the frame. So yeah, let's cardboard up some of these and transfer them over to my plasma table. Well, those are some big, heavy mounts, but whatever. I'd rather go overkill on this. It's a big brute. She might dance on the road a bit. Anyways, yeah. Let's get the frame cleaned up and let's get these all tacked together. So I got my rear mounts tacked in, so both sides are in. I'm going to build something similar. There's going to be a gusset on from the top here down to the frame yet. I don't know if I'll do a connector across. I think these will be fine like that. This one might get one just across the back, just some square tubing. The front, I gotta basically build the same thing now as these. So yeah, just start slicing up some more stuff. Hopefully I got enough steel in that plate to make them. So unfortunately, am I screwing around? I don't know what I did. I totally screwed up my design on one of these, or one set of these plates. But anyways, I think I can fix them, or salvage them. I just got to cut them out, yay and yay, and then they should be usable again. So I'm going to plasma these out, or zip cut. I'll probably zip cut, it's faster. Or cleaner anyways. I'll zip cut this and buzz them into the front mounts. And then I guess technically I can, like I don't have the front mount, but technically then I can lift the cab off, I can fix up those mounts, but I'll be able to move the motor and trans back now. I'll have to figure out how far I want to do that, but I want more than enough room. The motor's nice, easy to work on right now. It's nicely touching the firewall over there. But I'm not sure how far I'm going to bury that thing in there. Enough that I can easily put an intercooler and anything I want in the front. So I got to cut the drive shafts and do all that stuff anyways. So we may as well just suck it back to whatever makes sense, and then work with that. So if all the mounts are tacked in now, you can kind of see them down there and there. I'm gonna pull the body so I can weld those up solid. The motor, from the best I can tell here, I gotta move and shuffle some stuff. But 6 inches is about, this will end up being close to the firewall, so we'll do that, leave it at that, make whatever work after. So I'll be able to, I'm gonna do that. I guess I'm just gonna go in for supper anyways. Then after supper I'll probably lift the body off again, and I guess I'll pull the chassis back because I don't think I can lift the motor with it there. So I'll probably pull the chassis back, move the motor, make new mounts. Yeah, I don't know. I'll come back after supper and I'll come up with a game plan. We'll see if I can actually move the motor with the cab right here. Be cool if I could. So I never made her back to the shop last night. So anyways, now I'm here, and yeah, I'm going to I guess we'll unbolt the cab, lift the cab off, and that way I can weld up the mounts solid and start working on pushing the motor back. Yep, that's the plan. So everything's pressure washed, clean. I already see my first fallback problem here. I go back 6 inches, I'm losing my air conditioning, which really blows. I'll have to figure that out. But I guess what I'm going to start now is I'll get the motor mounts out, I'll get this cross member undone, pull the drive shafts, cut this pipe. I'll probably put a bigger pipe on anyways, but I'll cut the pipe somewhere here and get the motor sitting where it needs to go. So I was just stripping some wires there before. I don't know if that video worked out or not, but all I did is well, basically you don't really need anything to make these things run, so I kind of cleaned everything off. I'm not going to use the solenoid. I'm going to put a mechanical fuel shut off on it. What else? This is just for the alternator stuff, so I'm not sure where I put the regulator or anything yet, so I just saved as much of the wiring so I can go stab it somewhere on the truck later. I have a buddy of mine coming tonight, and we're going to change the fuel plate in here, and we're going to do the killer dowel pin, like we're going to fix that problem. Do that right away. I'm probably going to go cut or bring the motor back. I think I'm going to loosen this up, pop it out. I think I'm going to leave the cross member in for now. I will cut the exhaust pipe and get this drive shafty stuff off. I just want to slide the motor back where I want, and then try to figure out how I'm going to get my AC. I really want to be able to run air conditioning in this truck, but that's going to push it over this cross member, so I'm going to have to redo that cross member, I guess, to fit that pump in there. But first things first, I guess I'm going to get that exhaust out, get the drive shaft drop, and yeah, I don't know, one thing at a time. I'll probably weld up these things while I'm waiting anyways. Well, that is pretty close to where she's got to go. It's got to go just a hair back yet. Which, yeah, makes my air conditioning just not liking life. I just have it sitting on here. I got to move it back, but when I took it apart, I realized my mount was kind of shot. So I'll have to get a new one of them. Can use it just for mock-up, but I'm not going to drive with it. And then now I got to make some new mounts, which look like they're pretty simple, like a simple saddle mount. I'll probably cut these off. I don't know if I'll reuse them. I might just make some new ones out of some plate. And basically whatever this weird step notch is, I'm going to have to make here and then cut into this cross member. But I'm going to go in for supper and scratch my head a bit about this and figure it out, what I got to do. So I kind of have the motor sitting where I want. I can get at the pump. There's room around the pump. I can get the pump off if I had to. So I don't think I have to do this whole recess. I'm just going to clean this up a bit. But I can get at the 2 bolts. There's one bolt in the bottom that's kind of cruddy, but I can, what do you call it? I cut the head of the bolt down a little bit, so it'll loosen off, come out. So it doesn't sit this tight, it sits about there. I'll have the motor just a hair bit over to the one side, which works out pretty good because this one motor mount on the driver's side that I cut out fits good on this side. So I'm going to clean up the rail, I'm going to tack this sucker in, and then I'm going to make a set of mounts for the other side. And yeah, at least that's mounted. Then I got to move this cross member and stuff down here after, but that I can do a little later. My goal is to get the motor mounted on its new mounts tonight and get all of these things all buzzed up. Well, that was a lot of welding. Hokey Dinah. Anyways, so we got this all notched out. Then we got our body mounts all made. I know they're pretty beefy. I'm still on the fence whether I'm going to put a cross brace on that one. I might, but the back of the cab being over here might not be too big of a deal. I haven't put the pump on. I do have the motor just a hair bit over to this side just to make some room for the air conditioning pump, but that's not a big deal. Not a big deal. So I'm just going to push this sucker under there and drop the cab on. It leaves me the only thing to do is I got to order a body mount, but I might just modify the cross member and actually just, because the mount is supposed to be right here anyways, so I can pretty much just plate off and leave the transmission mount where it should be, so that should work out cool. Well, let's push her under and see how much better that fits. Well, I guess that's where I'm going to leave this one for tonight. Pretty beat here. And it's kind of late. But look at all the room now. Got a fan. Should be able to fit a rad, intercooler, all that stuff. And this side doesn't look so bad. Looks all roomy. Can touch stuff. And it's not too terrible inside. I mean, the back of the motor's got to come up a little bit yet, but at least she's sitting on her cab mounts. Haven't bolted it down. I'll do that tomorrow. But not too crazy. Yeah, a bit of a hump in there, but no big deal. Yeah. A little bit closer. Now I'll have to make some drive shafts and do all that jazz, but I don't think I got it back as far as I wanted, but it'll be okay. This was supposed to get a little tighter there. But I measured in here and I have lots of room for a rad and I should be able to figure out an intercooler and stuff like that, so. Yeah, right on. Well, that's where we're at. Thank you guys for watching. We'll catch you on the next one.